March 15th, 1942, North Atlantic, 02:17 hours. The sea is black glass under a moonless sky. Inside U-123, the air smells of diesel oil, sweat, and unwashed wool. Red battle lights flicker across steel bulkheads as Kapitänleutnant Reinhard Hardigan leans over the periscope. His eyes are bloodshot. He hasn't slept properly in days. Roar eins. Los. A hiss of compressed air. Then silence. 40 seconds later, somewhere in the darkness, a dull metallic thud becomes a violent eruption of flame. A merchant ship, American, splits open like a struck match. The blast rolls across the ocean. You can almost feel the concussion in your ribs. Another hit, another fireball. Another cargo hold full of fuel, trucks, food. Gone. The men inside the submarine don't cheer. They grin, they whisper, they tally. For Admiral Karl Dönitz, this is the moment he had promised Berlin. His wolf packs are strangling Britain. U-boats prowl the American coastline itself. Operation Paukenschlag, the drumbeat. Tankers burn within sight of Florida beaches. Civilians watch from boardwalks as flames consume ships on the horizon. The United States has entered the war, but it is unprepared. Convoy systems are disorganized. Coastal cities keep their lights on at night, silhouetting merchant ships against glowing skylines. To German submariners, it feels almost unfair. In Berlin, Dönitz studies his maps. Each red pin marks a sinking. They cluster thickly along the eastern seaboard and in the Caribbean. Tonnage destroyed is the metric that matters, not ships, tons. Britain needs millions of tons of cargo every month just to survive. In early 1942, the numbers look promising. American and Allied losses skyrocketed. U-boat commanders radioed in success after success. Some patrols returned with torpedoes exhausted and decks slick from North Atlantic spray. The men believe it. They believe they are winning the Atlantic. But inside the steel hulls of these submarines, victory feels strange. It is claustrophobic. The air grows stale within days. Fresh water is rationed so tightly that beards grow unchecked and bodies are wiped with oily rags instead of bathed. Condensation drips constantly from overhead pipes. Food rots quickly in the humidity. By week 3, bread blooms with mold. And yet morale is high, because every periscope sighting means another blow to the Allies. In the wardroom, officers study silhouettes. C-2 cargo ships, tankers, British freighters. The Americans are new to convoy warfare. Their merchant marine lacks seasoned escort coordination. Destroyers are too few. Aircraft patrol coverage is thin. For U-boat crews, this is the golden window. Dönitz needs 300 operational submarines to completely sever Britain's lifeline. In 1942, he does not have that many, but he has enough to cause chaos. Wolf packs assemble in coordinated formations, guided by encrypted Enigma signals. When one boat spots a convoy, it shadows and radios the others. They attack at night on the surface, running among the merchant ships like sharks through a herd. The Atlantic becomes a killing ground. Then something subtle begins to change. At first, it's barely noticeable. U-boat commanders report more targets, not fewer. More. Another convoy, another string of freighters, another cluster of silhouettes against the horizon. Sink 3, and next week there are 5 more. The tonnage numbers remain impressive, but the ocean doesn't look emptier. Hardigan notices it first during a later patrol. After weeks at sea, his boat intercepts another eastbound convoy. It feels routine now. Fire, dive, reload, fire again. But when they surface days later to scout shipping lanes, the horizon is not barren. It is busy. Smoke plumes rise in multiple directions, merchant funnels moving steadily, deliberately, almost as if the sinkings are being replaced. Back in Germany, Dönitz studies production reports from American shipyards. The figures seem inflated, impossible even. Liberty ships, standardized cargo vessels, are being built in sections, welded rather than riveted, assembled at unprecedented speed. One report claims a ship was launched in less than 60 days. Another claims 40. German naval staff dismiss some of it as propaganda, American industrial boasting. After all, submarines can sink ships faster than anyone can build them. Can't they? Late in 1942, the mood aboard returning U-boats begins to shift. Crews dock in French Atlantic ports, Lorient, Saint-Nazaire, Brest. Concrete submarine pens shield them from air attack. Families send letters, medals are awarded. But casualty lists are growing. Allied escorts are more aggressive now. Radar appears on destroyers. Aircraft patrols stretch farther into the Atlantic Gap. Depth charges detonate with unnerving accuracy. And still, the merchant traffic continues. German intelligence intercepts whispers. American shipyards on the East Coast and Gulf Coast are operating around the clock. Women welders, black workers migrating from the South, assembly lines of hulls. It sounds industrial, mechanical, relentless. One captured Allied sailor offhandedly remarks during interrogation, "You can sink them all year, and we'll still have more." The German officers laugh at that, but not entirely comfortably. Because somewhere deep down, a new question is forming. What if the war at sea isn't decided by torpedoes, but by factories? The man aboard U-123 cannot see across the ocean to Baltimore or Richmond. They cannot hear the clang of steel plates or the crackle of welding arcs lighting up American night skies. They only see the horizon, and the horizon is still full. By the end of 1942, Dunitz's wolf packs have inflicted staggering losses, yet American ship production curves upward, sharply, almost vertically. The numbers are beginning to cross, and far from the Atlantic's freezing spray, in shipyards the U-boat crews have never seen, something is multiplying, faster than they can sink it. They just don't know it yet.
November 8th, 1942. Richmond, California. 11:43 p.m. The sky above San Francisco Bay glows orange, not from fire, from welding arcs. At Kaiser's shipyards, floodlights turn midnight into daylight. Sparks cascade like metal rain as hull sections swing through the air on cranes. A whistle shrieks. Another shift rotates in. Coffee is poured. Gloves are tightened. There is no silence here, only rhythm. Steel plates slam into place. Rivet guns chatter. Welders trace bright seams along prefabricated sections. The smell is hot iron and burnt ozone. You can almost feel the vibration under your boots. On the ways sits a half-finished Liberty ship, SS Robert E. Peary. She has been under construction for 4 days. 4. Foremen shout over the din. Section B to slip 3. A crane pivots. A hull segment, pre-assembled dozens of yards away, descends into position like a puzzle piece. The design is simple, brutally simple. No elegance, no curves for speed, just cargo capacity and efficiency. The goal is not beauty, the goal is numbers. Across the United States, from Baltimore to New Orleans, from Portland to Savannah, shipyards pulse with the same urgency. President Franklin D. Roosevelt had made a promise. America would become the arsenal of democracy. Now that promise is turning into steel reality. Liberty ships are standardized down to the bolt. Welded construction replaces slower riveting. Sections are built simultaneously, not sequentially. Labor is expanded beyond traditional shipwrights. Farm boys, office clerks, teachers, women with no previous industrial experience. They are trained fast, and they build faster. By late 1942, American yards are launching ships in under 50 days on average. The record for the Robert E. Peary will drop to just over 4 days from keel laying to launch. A publicity spectacle, yes, but symbolic of something deeper. This is not just shipbuilding. This is mass production. Back in occupied France, in the reinforced pens at Lorient, U-boat crews begin hearing rumors from interrogations and intelligence briefings. Captured merchant sailors speak casually of another Liberty, another convoy, another set of hulls. A young German radio man frowns as he copies intercepted Allied traffic. Convoy codes repeat more frequently now. The shipping lanes are thicker with chatter. On his bunk, he unfolds a newspaper clipping passed around the crew mess, an article describing American shipyard output. The numbers feel abstract. Tens of thousands of tons per week, dozens of hulls per month. He tries to imagine it. He cannot. Because inside a submarine, production feels personal. Each torpedo loaded by hand, each engine repair done with sweat and scraped knuckles. Everything is finite, limited by space, by manpower, by fuel. But across the Atlantic, the United States is thinking in scale. And scale changes wars.
Early 1943. U-boat losses begin to climb sharply. Allied escorts are now equipped with improved radar sets and high-frequency direction finding, HFDUF, to